Hi guys, welcome. And who dat? I'm Joe. Thanks for tuning in to Rosenfield 10, where I cover the Saints. And today we're going to be looking at the 2025 schedule for our beloved Bless You Boys in black and gold. I'm not going to sit here and try to predict a record. We're just going to look at the schedule and see what it looks like. So here it is. Not very many places pull the actual schedule up, so it's pretty easy to follow. So you got 17 weeks. We have a bye week, and the the names in capital letters are home games. And if it's an away game, it's a small case and it says at. Pretty easy to follow. And let's not try to figure out what a record's going to be. We don't know what this team's going to be like. We don't know what the teams we're playing are going to be like. It's months away. But let's look at it anyway. First thing I do when the schedule comes out, I look for all the cold weather teams and see if we have to travel to a cold weather team. Well, looks like we're playing 7 teams that could be cold weather teams. But luck of the schedule, we only have to travel to one late in the year at Tennessee, second to last game at Tennessee. Every other cold weather team, we're either hosting in the dome or we're traveling to them early. So that's a plus. And if you look at all of the actual teams that we're playing, yeah, it's a lot of the bottom dwellers for most of the schedule. We play the NFC West this year, and we start the season with 3 of them in a row. We host Arizona to open the year, and then we host the San Francisco 49ers. Then we make the long travel to the Pacific Northwest to take on Seattle at Seattle. And in week 4, we travel to Buffalo, which is a long trip to New York. But luckily, both of those games are happening in September. Don't have to worry about cold weather. In October, we're going to host the Giants, and then we're going to host New England. Both cold weather teams we get to host in the Dome. Then we travel to Chicago October 19th, and that's not going to be cold then. We finished the month off of October hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In November, we travel to the Los Angeles Rams, which is always a tough gig. Then November 9th, we travel to Carolina. We get the bye week on November 16th, and that's not too bad. After 10 games, we get a bye week. Not too bad. We come off the bye week hosting Atlanta on the 23rd, and then on the 30th of November, we travel to Miami. Then, in a weird turn of events, we have to travel to Florida again the next week to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Don't know if the Saints are going to stay in Florida for the whole week between them games. The air travel's not that bad from Florida back home. So after Tampa Bay, we host 2 games in a row. We host Carolina, and then we host the New York Jets. Then December 28th, that's when we travel to Tennessee, and that might be the coldest game of the year for us. The last game of the year is at Atlanta, and that is to be determined. The date and the time is to be determined. So you look at the starting times for all of these games, and you'll realize none of them are prime time. I thought for sure that every NFL team had to play at least one prime time game, but apparently not, because we're not scheduled a prime time game at all. So unless any of these games get flexed, the only prime time game it might be the last one against Atlanta, but like I say, some of them might get flexed toward the end of the year. I don't know. But for right now, we have no prime time games. No games in England. And yeah, the worst trips we have are the first two road trips. The one going all the way to Seattle and then the one going all the way to Buffalo. That's the first two road games of the year. Other than that, everything looks manageable. That trip to the Rams is always a tough one. And yeah, that's about it. So if you look at the strength of schedule, you look at the strength of all of these teams, and you're thinking to yourself, man, if the Saints can just be a middle of the road team, we can end up 8-9 or 9-8. But we don't know how good we're going to be. We don't know how bad these teams are going to be or how good these teams are going to be. So it's really hard to tell. I'm more about giving a prediction for a final record after I've at least seen the head coach in action in some preseason games at least. So I can't do it. Can't give it a record. I can't look at this schedule and say all of these teams are weak when all of these teams are going to be looking at their schedule and seeing New Orleans and going, yeah, that's one we can get. So no predictions here, but the schedule's here. It's up. It's easy to read, and you guys take with it what you would like. You want to come up with a record on your own? Go ahead. If the Saints are any good, we can beat all of these teams. And if the Saints aren't any good, we can lose to all of them. That's as good of a prediction as I've got. I'm going to be positive and hope for the best. But that is the schedule. Not a 16-minute video, not a 40 or 50-minute video sitting here trying to figure out how we're going to win. I won't even bring up players that are on these teams. We don't know what's going on. Some of these teams may make a move and you might be talking about a whole different monster. I remember last year, the beginning of the year, looking at that Washington Commanders game on the schedule and thinking, yeah, we can win that. And then by the time that game came, we realized the Commanders were pretty dang good. So yeah, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell who's going to be good, who's going to be bad. We'll see. Stay tuned. Subscribe to Rosenfield 10. Like the video and subscribe. It's free. And you'll get all of the Saints content from a Saints fan that loves them as much as you do. And until the next one, I'll talk to you later. Who dat?